Haha. Good evening, everyone, and you're all welcome to this platform. Now, before we start how will I put it? Now, before we start our program for today, it is very, very important that we set the ball rolling by introducing what this platform is all about and what we are going to achieve in the course of it. Now, there's no need to overlevel the point where we all know that because of the outbreak of the coronavirus and every government on the surface of this earth trying to contain the virus, we all are under some kind of self quarantine or something. Wow, now that makes this platform extremely very, very important because on this platform we are going to bridge the gap between the instructors, the program, and the students. That way you don't get to feel the effects of that distance and the impact of this crisis. Now, on this platform, we are going to be looking at what advanced level and ordinary level literature is all about. But before then, we are going to give some clues into what literature is all about and then look at the nature of the questions. Now, if you look at what I have behind here, you're going to see a bottle. Well, I'm not a good artist, but at least we all can connect with this. We have a bottle here, and they have something scribbled on the board there. Now, here we are going to demystify and deconstruct whatever difficulties we have all been able to encounter one way or the other when it comes to literature, especially at the ordinary level, at the advanced level. What is it that the examiners really want? How are we supposed to break down our analysis? What is that dichotomy, that differences between ordinary level literature and advanced level literature? That is what this is all about. So sit still and put a smile on that face. Now, if there's one thing I'm going to tell you is that whoever it is that is at home and you staring at me deep down my eyeballs for one reason or the other, maybe because of time, because you're busy and you've not been able to sit in a traditional classroom and take lessons, then you should smile because you are in for one hell of a ride. And by the time we come to the end of it, trust me, there will be a smile on that face. And we are all going to be acing the A grades, be it on our level or advanced level literature. So let's get set the ball rolling and knock the can down the road. Now, we are going to look at what advanced level literature is. We begin with advanced level and then we go now to ordinary level. The nature of the questions and what is it that examiners really want from you. Now, we must understand that this is advanced level. And advanced level means that the examiner assumes you already know the storyline and the plot. Now, all they want to do is to test your analytical abilities to see if you're mature enough to go behind and empathize with the characters and see what their motivations are. Why has the author used this stylistic device or that narrative technique? Why is this character behaving this way or that way? Why is the events taking place here or there? All of this put together is what will give you a successful story, irrespective of whatever genre that story is conveyed, be it the poetic genre or music, like we do say, or the prose or the prosaic genre, or if you will, the conversational or the dialogue genre, which we traditionally call drama. All of that will fall within what we are going to be studying on this platform. Now, before we get in there, I want to remind you to get a full package. Please hit the subscribe button there now. Smile and hit it. Why? So that when the next videos come up, you'll be duly notified. Now, this is it. It is very, very simple. Let us just make it as simple as it is. Now, advanced level literature presents questions that are content, and structural in nature. Now, let's look at what we have here. What we have here is the structure of a bottle. I've taken some time to sketch one here. It's not very good. Now, if we look at our bottle here, what do we see? We can see that there is something inside, some kind of a liquid. It could be water, if you will. And then if we look out of it, we can see the outline structure of this bottle. Now, that is all literature. It is that simple. Now, let me use another example. Let us assume this is Rome. And here we are. And you're going to get to Rome. There are several ways to get to Rome. You can get to Rome using this lane, this lane, this one, this one. All we need to do is that we get here. And so that is literature. No author, no writer, no artist is going to write a piece of literature to tell you and I how much mastery they have of the rudiments, the mechanisms, called them devices, setting, plot, characterization. No, that is not the rationale behind literature. The rationale behind literature is to entertain, to educate, and to caution. So how then do they achieve all of that? By using this mechanism. It's just like you going to the market with a list, an inventory. Now you've got a number of spices written on it. You want to prepare sausage. You have onions, you have tomatoes, you have some green spices, you have some cubes of Maggi and a pinch of salt and all of that. Now, you are not going to the market because you want to buy those things to decorate your kitchen. Oh no. The reason why you are there is because you want to prepare a pot of sauce or sausage. And so all the items you have in your list will enable you have your pot of sauce or sausage, if you will. So the same thing obtains here. The end product of all of this is a piece of material that entertains, that cautions, and that reforms the society. And so authors achieve that using rudiments. We call them literary elements. You can see them on the board. So the rationale, the raison d'etre behind equations in advanced level is to test our abilities to identify and analyze the impact of all these mechanisms and how they can enable that author achieve a successful story. Remember, a story is like a functioning human being. It has parts, limbs, the full body torso, and everything with the head, the neck, everything functions to ensure that there is success at the end of the tunnel. So let's get into it. That is our literature. So all the questions you are ever going to see in literature can be identified on these two different layers. We have structural questions and we have content questions. At the level of structure, let's go back to our analogy of a bottle. What do we see here? We see the outline edges. You call this the structure of the bottle. Now, when you look at this structure, in literature, we call these devices. It will identify as a devices. It could be metaphor, it could be narrative techniques like humor, it could be pathos. Whatever devices or literary techniques the examiner has used, you can lay all of them out as the structure of the text itself. It could also be setting. But then when we talk about content questions, we are talking about those questions that will require candidates not to focus on the devices, but to penetrate the text and go within, reading between the lines, to be able to dig out the themes, the plots, the sequential arrangements of the events, the actions played out by the authors, by the characters, to ensure that the total effect is achieved. So questions that come within the novel, within the poem, within the play are referred to as content questions. So we have two kinds of questions. Either they are structural or they are content. Now, you knowing the nature of these questions is almost 60% having your grades, whatever grade that you want to have. Because the kind of questions that you have will determine how you study these texts. And knowing just what to do at what time will take you there. So when we look up here, what do we see? We see literary elements. There are 5 of them. We have plot, we have stylistic devices. Now, stylistic devices will vary depending on the genre. We'll come to that. Then we have themes, we have setting, and we have characters. Now, there is no story without these. You can't have a story without these elements. And putting these elements together is what will give you a successful story. So you're going to be studying them too. And that is why there is a difference between advanced level literature and ordinary level literature. So we are going to be looking at this and what role they play in each of the stories we are going to be studying to see that the author arrives at whatever goal or objective they have set for themselves. So that was just a teaser of what is to come. But then I want to make this promise: as long as you remain faithful to this platform by hitting the subscribe button, I promise you one thing: the grade is there for your taking. So I will see you hitting now and spread as far as and wide, as far and wide as you can. I'll see you in the next clip. Ciao.